uh, Bhutan, India have a strong economic relationship that is founded on the basis of a currency board system in which the exchange rates are set at parity, and it has worked significantly well. We need to discuss about its relevance today and its importance in the past. I have with me Mr. Gopal Giri, Professor of Business and former Director, Research and Development, Royal Monetary Authority. Welcome, Mr. Gopal Giri,
Yes.
on the board. Gopal, I have a few questions for you, and the one is, what was the historical, political, and social context in which this exchange rate system was adopted by Bhutan?
Thank you, sir, for this question. I think exchange rate peg plays a very vital role in Bhutan's macroeconomic policy. And the historical, as we know that uh, Bhutan introduced a new term in 1974 during the first, the coronation of fourth His Drukgyalpo, His Majesty Jigme Singh Wancho. And since then, Bhutan had decided to peg new term at par with rupees. The reason behind is, India being a very stable and close neighbor, which shares close economic and financial ties with Bhutan, and we know that since the five-year plan development started, India has been a very important development partner for Bhutan. If you look at historically also, Bhutan and India had a very close cross-border trade, starting from Kuch Bihar and the Dohar area of Bhutanese and Indian neighboring state has a very cordial relationship in trade. But before the monetization happened in Bhutan, they were using coins those days. When Bhutan resorted to full monetization with the issuance of currency, Bhutan deliberately, decided to peg the country under a unconventional currency peg arrangement with India. This is mainly reason behind this peg is that to avoid exchange rate volatility, because we know that currency conversion risk is very minimal if we peg our currency with the Indian rupees, because India is a big and stable country, and that made Bhutan to anchor our currency with Indian rupees. This provided the alternative for maintaining monetary policy stability for Bhutan also.
Okay, that's interesting to hear the political and historical and economic context within which this exchange rate system was adopted. What's, as per your working experience with the Royal Monetary Authority and also a keen student of economics, what's your basically idea that how it served to the macroeconomic stability and trade integration with India?
This is a really very important topic at this point of time. Without peg, exchange rate peg, this is going to be very difficult, because under unconventional peg, Bhutan has been enjoying, the trade integration with India. If you look at the export to India is almost 80%. And if you look at import is almost 90% of import is from India, and this makes the exchange rate very special with India, because we have to make a payment at the end of the day in Indian rupees. Since there is a parity, this provided confidence for the local people to make payment in India. Also for attracting FDIs, there's confidence is inbuilt with the Indian exchange rate. That's one. Another advantage is that hydropower. I think this plays a very vital role. We know that hydropower is one of the main driver of economic growth in Bhutan. All hydropower inflows are denominated in rupees,
Yeah.
and we have to make payment also in rupees, and the hydropower income generated is also in rupees, because we export all the hydropower to India. And that makes a special arrangement. A one-to-one peg makes a lot of sense because of the investment, looking from the trade front, also from the macroeconomic front. If you look at the growth and GDP growth and price, the pattern of the shocks is similar if you compare with Bhutan and India. The same pattern.
Yeah.
And even looking from the fiscal side, Bhutan is dependent on the 5-year plans. most of the development grants come from India, and is all denominated in rupees, and import is from India, export is to India. That makes a lot of sense for us to maintain the peg exchange rate, and is advantages for Bhutan, at least at this point of time.
Based on basically this past experience, how it has well served to Bhutan's interest, anchored prices. Another thing that is important now in coming times, as Bhutan moves for economic transformation under 13 5-year plan, how do you think that this exchange rate system would still continue to serve the interest of Bhutan, or there's a need for reconsideration? What's your take on that?
Okay, this is really important point here. I think if you look at literature, theoretical background, this optimum currency area of Mundell Fleming is really resembles between India and Bhutan. That's why the peg makes a lot of sense, because similar. There's a capital mobility. There's a labor mobility. But if you look at the current situation and also moving forward, Bhutan became a member of IMF in 1981, September 28. During that time, Bhutan has been placed under a transitional arrangement. When you say transitional arrangement, Bhutan, being the member, is permitted to maintain current account restrictions. Because Bhutan is still a developing country, and our economic vulnerabilities are a little bit high. That's why it takes time for us to open up our current account and capital account over a longer period of time. Bhutan is placed under Article 14 status, under Article of Agreement of IMF. Okay. When you say Article 14, it says that we are allowed to maintain current account restrictions.
Okay.
But if you actually, sir was mentioning regarding moving towards Article 8, opening of the capital and doing away with the peg exchange arrangement in the long run. I think that is basically if you want to move from Article 14 status to Article 8, where there's a full convertibility of capital account. Okay. There's Article 8 status. This will take time, because for this we need to prepare macroeconomically. Macroeconomic sustainability should be there. We have to calibrate an entire transition phase, making into a roadmap. Then only we'll be able to move. Basically, we can move from partial current account restriction removal to full convertibility. Takes a gradual approach towards that.
Okay, that's very interesting to hear. And now, looking at the whole experience of Bhutan with this particular exchange rate system, how do you think what Bhutan would actually provide lesson to other small developing countries which have the one great trade partner with them?
Sure.
What's Bhutan's experience sharing with?
I think this leadership wisdom. I think first we have to give credit to our torch bearer, our visionary leaders who we saw that pegging Bhutanese currency with Indian rupees at this time is very beneficial for Bhutan, and a lot of benefit. The lessons that we learn from here is mainly from the stability point of view, macroeconomic stability, because India is a big economy, and India is a stable economy. I think India is an emerging economy, you can say. If you look from the size, look from the volume of trade happening within the region. From the SAARC region, India is a member of BRIC, and it has a better negotiating, dictating terms in the term of global trade. And Bhutan pegging with India makes a lot of benefit for Bhutan. And the lessons that we learn is basically exchange rate, stability, and other is macroeconomic volatility also minimized the risks.
Okay.
And there's a benefit. The other benefit I see is from the hydropower investments, and always the Bhutan has been put under this the advantageous position in terms of resources, hydropower, and India imports and all these the bilateral arrangement in hydropower has been actually deeply rooted in the exchange rate arrangement that makes Bhutan very advantageous, because there is no risk of getting the Indian rupee devalued, because it's stable currency. This will not affect our trade in terms,
and also may not affect monetary policy independence completely.
I think that is again one issue, because although we say that there's a benefit of exchange rate, but we are losing the monetary policy independence partially, because. But again, when you say monetary policy independence, if you look at the CPI index, if you look at CPI, 48% is domestic CPI and 52 is imported CPI. Unless we correct this, the exogenously determined price and monetary policy independence doesn't make sense, because unless we increase the export and decrease the import, right, sir? It has to go together.
Yeah, definitely. I think you have provided a very clear picture of this exchange rate system that exists between India and Bhutan. Thank you very much, Mr. Gopalgiri, for your insightful discussion.
Thanks.
Thank you. We are really benefiting.